Likido Martial Art. Mental Conditioning Day 9. Duration, 1 day. Additional info 3. For this third day additional information we will talk about the final bit of vital information I know about martial arts, fighting, that will act as the closing part of this mental conditioning since this is the last day already of our 9 days mental conditioning period. But before we begin this final day of our mental conditioning, show to me now your yesterday's assignment of the other factors you see would play in an actual fight other than the martial art knowledge and training itself, and the one listed before. In here I will try to mention all the other important pieces of knowledge I haven't mentioned previously, or at least haven't talked that much deep about. First of all, when defending ourselves in a kill or be killed situation, our main aim when attacking our opponent is killing, not just simply to incapacitate them, for it will open up a possibility of us not being able to give the best and most damaging attack we can, thus increasing the possibility of us being the one who might actually be killed. So remember to attack with the intent of killing, because if not, you might be the one who might actually be killed. On speed physical aspect, on the other hand, I just wanted to give a more in-depth insight of this one too, for in the very beginning of a fight I think this is the most important physical aspect, especially when combined with knowledge, aka precision. Always remember that when in a kill or be killed situation, your aim is to finish it as quickly as possible, for the more the fight lengthens, the more possibility of your opponent actually being the one gaining victory becomes. So always aim to finish the fight as soon as it begins. This is reality and survival, not fantasy and movie. On repetitive routines, I am not that a fan of it, for on actual fights, where one's life is at stake, the unpredictability is so high added that the opponent won't cooperate with you, unlike on the training or practice in place, making it so hard to almost impossible to perform those repetitive routines. So instead, much better to just hone and practice your physical aspects, for they are really the ones who will help you most of the time in an actual kill or be killed situation where everything is unpredictable, like your speed, reflex, strength, etc. Don't misunderstood this. Yes, some routines and techniques against attacks that normally happens might be helpful, but to memorize and remember a bunch of them in a scenario where everything could just take split second is almost a waste of time and effort, when you could have just developed your physical aspects better, like speed and reflex, that could better help you on those situations where thinking actually almost doesn't work anymore. On defending against grappling, like those done by a wrestler, jiu-jitsu practitioner, and other grapple martial artists we haven't talked about on this mental conditioning, given that only those very important pieces of information are listed here with our limited time of 9 days. Thus in an actual kill or be killed situation, especially if this is your only knowledge of martial art, the 30 days conditioning of this martial art, you should avoid a grappling situation with your opponent, especially you don't know if they have a training, knowledge or skill in it that could give them huge advantage. That's why speed and precision is the very first thing we talk about to finish the fight as quickly as possible, for the more it is prolonged, the more the possibility of your opponent being the one to defeat, kill you opens up, and this grappling one could be the one possibility of that. But let's say this happen even when you try to avoid it as much as possible, then your physical conditioning like strength, endurance and flexibility might help you to grapple, or at least find a way to escape it. Also some knowledge you gained on this mental conditioning, and even the emotional stability while in a survival situation, you'll get on the next conditioning, which is the emotional conditioning. On effectivity. What does effectivity or practicality means in the Likido martial art? It means the ability to adapt on any situation and environment for defending oneself. That's why it is also one of the main encouraged concept while learning this Likido martial art, like for example on doing the exercises. You must do these not just on one place where you feel comfortable, but try to do them anywhere you can as much as possible, because your aim here is to be versatile and be able to defend yourself wherever it occurs. One of the other thing we need to address is the issue of training on only one place, like a ring or a training place or ground where one thinks one is so good already at what he is doing, because he trained only in one place where almost everything he can easily predict and control. Then he one day face an opponent on a different place and got smacked in the face, not knowing what to do anymore. This is why you should take all the possible opportunity to train on as much different places as possible to increase your flexibility and adaptability to differing environments. In Likido martial art we don't use style or any other fancy stuff like stance etc. For the aim of this martial art is practicality and effectivity, not to look cool. Thus it has no style and can use any or all style, depends on which will help us. This martial art don't also focus on the use of just one body parts or using a single technique, just like punching for boxing, grappling for jiu-jitsu etc. Where it could be their weakness to, like a boxer trapped in a situation where he can't use his fist, thus making its self-imposed limit its greatest weakness. Another thing that I want to give emphasis of before we close this final lesson of this day, 9th, the final day, for this Likido martial art, 9 days mental conditioning, I wanted to talk about the art of using our strength against our opponent's weakness, our heart against our opponent's soft, our big against our opponent's small, which is a metaphor for blocking and attacking in a fight. Where when we attack we must target our opponent's vital points, soft, weak, using our bodily weapons, hard, strong, which is what we talked about on the previous lessons of this mental conditioning. And this works also in blocking, since blocking offers a potential damage unlike avoiding, that's why it's the secondary option. But if we will get to be damaged, it must be way less severe than what our attacking opponent gets, like using our shin bone, hard, strong, to block our opponent's side kick, directly aiming our shin to the front ankle of their foot, soft, weak. For now, ponder and contemplate about the concept of this final pieces of knowledge I taught in here, and how you could apply this on an actual fight, before finishing this lesson for today. Important notice: don't forget your minimum 20 minutes of physical movements today that focuses on the 5 physical aspects, which is speed, reflex, flexibility, strength and endurance, with 4 minutes each minimum for each physical aspects. You'll do this daily, every day, checking this every night once your day ends if you have done 4 minutes each for all the 5 physical aspects of movements today. If not, then you must do it before you sleep. Written by Earth Robert. This video is made possible by the sponsor below, Quincy Wilson.